Welcome to today's Explainer. We're diving straight into an absolutely mind-blowing discovery that literally bridges cutting-edge astrophysics with ancient theology. We're looking at a fascinating narrative pulled from recent deep dives into the data of the universe's most mysterious objects. And guess what? That data might just be speaking a language we never, ever expected to hear. I know, it sounds like pure science fiction, right? What if the densest, darkest object in the universe actually holds the ancient memory of human creation? Today, we're essentially prying open a scientific mystery box hidden deep inside the shadow of the M87 star black hole. We'll see exactly what happens when data scientists apply rigorous information theory to the light bending around the abyss. Section 1. The Black Hole Shadow, a Cosmic Mystery. Let's set the stage by introducing two very different scientists looking at the exact same data from the Event Horizon Telescope's groundbreaking 2019 capture of M87 star. On one side, we have Dr. Nadia Al-Hussein, the lead data scientist at the sub-millimeter array out in Hawaii. She was analyzing the spatial distribution of brightness, basically the black hole's shadow. On the other side is her colleague, Dr. Carl Muller, who's a strict materialist and relativist. For Carl, this shadow was, nothing more than curved light and thermal radiation from gas. But Nadia, she approached this data with a completely different lens. She actually believed the black hole's shadow might contain hidden information reflecting the creation of humanity from clay. Carl, as you might guess, totally dismissed this as impossible. Now, Nadia didn't just pull this idea out of thin air. She was deeply inspired by the Quran, specifically Surah Al-Mu'minun, which clearly outlines 7 distinct stages of human creation. We're talking about a transition from the essence of clay, known as tin, all the way to neshaya ukhra, meaning another creation. This led Nadia to ask a pretty profound question. If humans are created from the essence of clay, is there any way the universe's densest object could actually retain a structural, informational memory of this biological process in the data it leaks? This brings us to Section 2, Entropy and Creation, the 7 stages revealed. To test this wild hypothesis, Nadia knew she couldn't just rely on looking at pictures. She needed hard, undeniable mathematics to measure the data buried within that brightness profile. Enter Shannon entropy. If you aren't familiar with it, it's a foundational formula in information theory used to measure the chaos, uncertainty, or randomness of information inside a specific dataset. Normally, if you were to calculate the Shannon entropy of something like a black hole shadow, the equation should just spit out completely random noise. I mean, we're talking complete and utter chaos. But Nadia was meticulous. She systematically processed the telescope data step by step. First, she extracted the brightness profile. Second, she mapped it onto a 20 by 20 pixel grid where the intensity of each pixel created a probability distribution. And finally, she applied that Shannon entropy formula to figure out the exact uncertainty of that distribution. And the result? It was absolutely jaw-dropping. It wasn't random noise at all. Nadia's entropy map revealed this highly structured, non-random spiral pattern made up of exactly 7 distinct layers. And here's the real kicker. The pixel counts of these layers perfectly aligned, sequentially, with the mathematical codes of those 7 stages of human creation: clay, sperm drop, clot, flesh, bones, muscular covering, and another creation. Mind-blowing, right? Moving on to Section 3, the secret code, 3D hologram revealed. So, when Carl saw this preliminary data, he instantly brushed it off as a data processing artifact. Just a glitch in the algorithm, nothing to see here. But Nadia was not about to back down. His skepticism actually pushed her to dig even deeper by translating these visual entropy bands directly into raw binary code. She took those 7 bands and converted them into a 400-bit binary sequence. At first, it just spit out random ASCII letters. But then she applied something called delta encoding, which means looking at the differences between consecutive bits instead of the bits themselves, and extracted the run lengths. And you won't believe this, but the output literally spelled out the exact Arabic abbreviations for those specific biological stages: sulala, nutfa, alaka, mudga, izam, and laham. Taking it even a step further, Nadia transformed that entire entropy dataset into a 3-dimensional voxel cube. And when she rotated this 3D model on her screen, it formed a literal hologram of the creation stages. They stacked perfectly. You had a dense, dark layer of clay at the absolute bottom, ascending up through structured, anatomical layers, and finally topping off with a bright, radiant ring representing the final stage, another creation. Which leads into Section 4, Synthetic Black Hole, a skeptic's test. Even after all this, Carl was still entirely unconvinced. He figured the only way to debunk her theory was to prove it was just a massive statistical fluke. So he built a fake synthetic black hole shadow from scratch, using 100 completely random Gaussian brightness peaks, keeping the exact format and resolution of the real telescope data. Carl ran his synthetic shadow through the exact same Shannon entropy test, and sure enough, it yielded complete gibberish. No hidden codes, no stages of creation. He really thought he had won. But Nadia was quick to point out a fatal flaw in his test. You see, Carl had only replicated the flat intensity of the light. He completely missed the crucial phase information, the way the light waves actually twist and align over time, which is very much present in the real M87 star data. Here is the crucial point. When you look at the true linear polarization map of the actual black hole, it contains magnetic field lines that form exactly 7 distinct rings. And those rings perfectly match the structural energy required for the biological creation stages, with an absolutely stunning 99.9% accuracy rate. Carl's fake data didn't have any of this. Section 5, Spectral Proof. Hawking radiation. That 99.9% accuracy rate really shifted the entire paradigm. But Nadia wanted undeniable confirmation that this wasn't just some weird anomaly with this specific telescope image. So she turned her attention to Hawking radiation. That's the theoretical thermal radiation released by virtual particles popping into and out of existence right near a black hole's event horizon. She mathematically extracted the theoretical spectrum of this radiation. And guys, the specific wavelength peaks exactly match the specific energy envelopes required to biologically transition through the 7 stages of creation, from clay all the way to flesh. It was literally as if the black hole, through its radiation leakage, was actively rebroadcasting the step-by-step code of human genesis. At this point, Carl was utterly stunned. To really put this to the test, he took Nadia's theoretical model and ran the numbers himself. And he didn't just stop at M87 star. He ran it on data from 3 completely different black holes with totally different masses. M87 star, Sagittarius A star right in the center of our own galaxy, and the massive black hole in Andromeda. Every single one of them reproduced the exact same 7-layer spectral memory. Section 6, The Shadow That Remembers, a 7-layer pattern. This revelation completely shattered Carl's strict materialist worldview. There was just no way he could call it a physical coincidence anymore. He actually stayed at the data center all night, running the Shannon entropy formula on 100 different temporal snapshots of the black hole's shadow. And guess what? He got the exact same 7-layer pattern every single time. This all led to this incredibly stunning moment at an international physics conference. Carl, the ultimate skeptic, stood up and publicly presented these findings right alongside Nadia. He admitted, and I quote, "The black hole is a rebirth center of information, the darkest object in the universe leaks light, and in that light the memory of clay shines." He fully acknowledged that black holes don't just destroy information, they literally leak the foundational code of creation. And the research hasn't stopped there. Today, the Global Hawking Muon Project is actively mapping the entropy topology of 10 more black holes scattered across the cosmos. And what they're discovering is just incredible. They found that higher black hole spin rates actually make this 7-layer creation pattern even sharper. It's almost as if the spin itself acts to pronounce the stages of creation more clearly. Dr. Nadia Al-Hussein beautifully captures this profound realization in her upcoming book. She writes, "You don't see darkness. You see layers, calling out that I came from clay and became another creation." It's such a powerful reminder that creation isn't just some static event locked in the past. It's a continuing reality, mathematically encoded into the shadows of the cosmos, just as it's written in our hearts. Which brings us to the end of our journey through this incredible data. We've seen how mathematics and astrophysics have unveiled a deeply poetic, 7-layered memory inside the ultimate abyss. So as we look out into the deepest depths of the universe and stare right into the shadows of these cosmic giants, we're left to ponder this ultimate lingering question. Can you read that writing?